If you were Jos Buttler in his position now, what would you be saying to the guys now? And would it be now, or would you let it wait?
No, it would be now, and the reason for that is because they were so far off the mark. We had Joe Root here just a few moments ago talking about missing both sides of the wicket with the ball and possibly 30 or 40 short with the bat. That's a lot of runs to be short by, and you know, trying to find a balance. He was talking about not being bowled out for upwards of 230 or 240 and trying, you know, to find that balance. If you listen to their skipper Jos Buttler throughout the back end of our summer, he continued to reiterate the message that you have to be more aggressive, they have to be brave, and for many years they have been the side to chase. So coming into a game where you've just defeated the opposition 3-1 in an ODI series, they know that they have to bring close to their A game in order to beat you. So they are chasing you as fast and as quickly as they can. It is not up to you to try and find the balance or try and, you know, ease your way into a tournament, because I think that's what they've tried to do here today. I thought, yes, they were short with runs and didn't bowl well, but if they're short by a long way today, not just 30 or 40. And with the ball, they looked undercooked. They bowled both sides of the wicket, which, you know, is not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, and particularly in a game where they go in with the extra batter in effect, the batting all-rounder in Moeen Ali or Liam Livingstone, whoever that will be. They fell short with runs. So a really disappointing day, but my message would be here tonight before you leave that change room, because if you go home after such a dramatic defeat, you sit in your hotel room and you continue to ask yourself questions. You always find as a leader, your moments to make a difference is when people are listening. I guarantee you, all 15 players in that changing room will be listening to the message that Matthew Mott or just Jos Buttler deliver.
How do you see it with the bat, that risk and reward balance? We heard it a lot during his tenure as captaincy. We hear it with Ben Stokes in the Test side and Brendan McCullum. Be brave, go that bit harder. How do you see it on something like this, a surface like this, with the sun baking down and it just nibbling?
Yeah, it was a pretty decent surface. You know, I know there's a bit of talk about conditions changing or whatever. The dew tends to come down about 8:30. The game was done and dusted by 7 o'clock. So I'm not putting it down to a change in conditions. I'm just putting it down that one side were absolutely magnificent in New Zealand, and the other side were way off the expectations of what we've seen of them over the last however many years, really. So I thought with the batting, there were a lot of soft dismissals in there. You know, Liam Livingstone had just been bowled a little knuckleball, and then he chips it to exactly where we're standing. You know, belt it out the ground, take the Owen Morgan approach. If you're going to take down the long on, take it with a proper big shot, not just a little chip. Sometimes when you play the extra batter, it's almost like, oh, well, I'll leave it to the next guy, I'll leave it to the next guy. So take responsibility. That's what they missed Stokes today. Again, you become a very good player when you're out of the team. Make no mistake, Ben Stokes is a very good player, either in or out of the team. But that's what he does. He takes responsibility. That 182 he got against this opposition, he knows when to sit in, when to go hard. It's not all about going hard all the time. It's just reading situations, assessing the situations, and not just saying, oh, we got another batter, we got another batter, we got another batter. Because with this New Zealand side, if you give them a sniff, they'll be all over you like a rash.
Can you, at some stage, just say, do you know what? We were outplayed and we have to take that firmly on the chin? Or is there always something that you can look to be better? Because New Zealand, you have to say, with both bat and ball, were virtually faultless.
Yeah, they were outstanding. I think there are moments throughout tournaments that you can say you were outplayed, but you have to be able to compete in many ways in order to say that you were outplayed. And for a lot of the game this evening, England didn't compete. You know, and considering the level of expectation there is on their shoulders, they come into this tournament as one of the favourites, and rightly so. They're a bloody good team, and when you are favourites and when that level of expectation is on your shoulders, you have to continue to produce regardless of how good the opposition is, and regardless of what stage of a tournament that might be. You have to find a way around it. You know, the way England batted at certain stages today reminded me of how England played against India in that semi-final at Adelaide, where they dictated play to India. It was like New Zealand dictated play to England today. So yes, there are certain circumstances that you can say, yeah, we were completely outplayed, but not completely outplayed off the park. Not this the quality in that changing room.
How impressed were you with the captaincy of Tom Latham, given that his resources were stretched?
Hugely, because there would have been questions about management, there would have been questions about not replacing Saudi. Saudi had that serious injury, but they kept him in. And if you do that, you better make sure that the rest of your seam attack's fit. And then you come up the first game, Lockie Ferguson breaks down. Now you are a seam bowler down, so you have to make use of the three resources. One's a spinner, and two of the seam bowlers. I thought Matt Henry was exceptional, but I thought the way Latham used Henry, used Bolt, used Santner, then used Phillips. You have a certain amount of overs that you think, they're my go-to. When I need a wicket, I'll bring them on. When I need to sit in, I'll go then. Every time he went the go-to, I need a wicket, that bowler delivered. And then they go to Phillips and you think, right, we'll take a risk with Phillips, and you get out. I thought Latham was magnificent today. He was the difference, and the captaincy of how he led that depleted attack was brilliant. And then the partnership.
Yeah.
Those two left-handers really put into context what a good pitch this is. I know batting under lights, ball skids on or whatever. The crisp nature of that bat on ball, the sound of bat on ball, they gave us a masterclass in white ball batting without playing a big shot, without losing their shape. At what moment did you know, we'll do highlights, or we've done highlights, show me a highlight where a ball went up in the air and a batter lost their shape, those two left-handers? They never did. The one thing I'll say about England is that you do have periods like this, and they're a side that do bounce back. They lost the first game against New Zealand at Cardiff. I know it's not a World Cup, but everyone was saying, like, oh, Joe Root's gone, you know, change the side, the bowling attack's rubbish, whatever, and then they come back. Even though in Morgan's side, in the middle of that last World Cup, they lost 3 games in the middle. Was it Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Australia at Lords, and you had to win every game after that. I don't know how to win World Cups, but my guess is that at times you have to dig deep after performances like this and be able to pick yourselves up, dust yourselves down, and go again. And I think in Joss they have that kind of leader. He wears it on his sleeve a little bit more than you did. You used to be completely, you couldn't tell if it was a good day or a bad day. You can tell with Joss in his eyes how the team is doing. But I think he's a cool, calm leader who will analyse it and not overreact, but realise that that wasn't good enough today. That was a poor performance.
The other challenge England will have is not only to get back on the horse, play better, win against Bangladesh, it's the travel. So they'll travel, I imagine, to Dharamsala tomorrow, and then it's quite a quick turnaround, and some players don't travel as well via aircraft, and England do it after every single game of the group stage.
Yeah, we highlighted that, I suppose, in the whole of the build-up for this first game. They probably have the worst fixture list of any team, arguably, throughout the whole tournament. I have no doubt that they would have spoken about it in their planning throughout this tournament, and every player will be well aware, but it becomes a bigger issue if they don't solve getting points on the board or building confidence through performance. Once you do that, and once you can convince yourself that, you know what, it's not a big issue, we can jump on a plane and go anywhere and adapt to conditions, because that's what they're going to have to do. Every venue they go to, they're going to have to be very quick at adapting to conditions and also bringing their A game, because if sides are going to rock up to play against England and play in this manner, it's going to be no easy task.
That is just one thing I would keep an eye on as you progress through the tournament, of like woe is me sort of thing, right? It is going to be tough, and you can feel like the world's against you. So, you know, like Johnny Bairstow tweeted a picture of them landing after a very long flight, and they had to go A to B to C to D to get to Guwahati. They were playing in Guwahati just 2 nights ago, travelled here day before yesterday, press conference yesterday, straight into the game. Then they are a side that are playing, travelling. That is one thing as a captain I would be keeping an eye on. Lads, let's not moan. I'm not saying they will. Let's not moan about it. Let's not whinge about it. That's how it is. We suck it up and we go again. That's why we're world champions. Just keep an eye on that we don't get too down on ourselves, because we've lost 1 game. We are a very fine side. Let's kick on from here.